At 66, Eamonn Holmes has finally broken his silence about his estranged wife Ruth Langsford, and what he's revealed is absolutely devastating. After months of keeping quiet while Ruth promoted her tell-all memoir and painted herself as the victim, Eamonn is reportedly furious and ready to fight back with some shocking truths of his own. This is the story of how one of Britain's most beloved television couples imploded in spectacular fashion, leaving behind a trail of bitter accusations, custody battles, and public humiliation that's still playing out today. What started as a fairy tale romance has become a nightmare that's destroying both their careers and their family. Let me take you back to where this all began, because the cracks in their relationship were there long before anyone realized. Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford first met in 1997 through their mutual friend, television presenter Sally Mean. It was hardly love at first sight, though. Eamonn was still technically married to his first wife Gabrielle, from whom he'd been separated since 1994. The couple kept their budding romance completely secret for years out of respect for Gabrielle and Eamonn's 3 children from that marriage. Ruth later told the Daily Mail that this actually made her love Eamonn more, not less. She said, "I thought it spoke volumes about the sort of man he was, the sort of father he was, and the integrity he had." How tragically ironic those words sound now. The very integrity she admired would later become the source of her deepest pain. Their son Jack was born in February 2002, and by 2005, Eamonn had finally divorced Gabrielle. In 2006, the couple began their dream job co-presenting Friday episodes of This Morning together, becoming one of the most recognizable faces on British television. They seemed to have it all when they married at the stunning Elvetham Hall in Hampshire in June 2010, surrounded by friends, family, and celebrity colleagues. For over a decade, they were the golden couple of daytime TV. Eamonn even received an OBE in 2018 for his services to broadcasting. Ruth was thriving on Loose Women and had become the longest-serving presenter of This Morning. They had their beautiful home in Weybridge worth £2.5 million, their son Jack, and what appeared to be an unbreakable bond forged through years of working together. But behind the cameras, things were falling apart in ways the public never could have imagined. The first major blow came in November 2020 when ITV unceremoniously axed them from their regular Friday This Morning slot. The official line was that they wanted to give opportunities to younger presenters, but insiders suggested there were deeper issues. The couple felt betrayed by the network they'd served so faithfully for 15 years. Then Eamonn's health began to deteriorate dramatically. In 2021, he started experiencing chronic back pain that would change everything. What began as discomfort escalated into a debilitating condition that left him barely able to function. He discovered he had 3 slipped discs and had dislocated his pelvis. The man who had been so active and vibrant was suddenly facing spinal surgery and an uncertain future. Ruth stepped into the role of caregiver, helping Eamonn through multiple surgeries and his darkest moments. He had spinal surgery in 2021, then a second operation in 2022 for a broken shoulder, followed by a third surgery in 2023. By this point, Eamonn was relying on a wheelchair and mobility scooter, with carers helping him throughout the day. Imagine the strain this put on their marriage. Ruth was juggling her own career while caring for a man who had gone from being her equal partner to someone who needed help getting out of a chair. Eamonn himself has been brutally honest about his condition, saying, "I need help getting out of this chair. I have to have carers throughout the day. But once I'm sitting down, I can do everything." While Ruth was devotedly caring for her husband, something else was happening that would ultimately destroy their marriage. Back in 2015, a woman named Katie Alexander had casually responded to one of Eamonn's tweets. What started as a simple social media interaction slowly developed into something much more significant over the years. Katie, a 42-year-old relationship counselor, and Eamonn bonded over their shared involvement with the same mental health charity. The irony is almost too painful to bear. While Ruth was physically caring for Eamonn, he was emotionally connecting with another woman. A relationship counselor, no less, who was 23 years younger than him and presumably understood exactly how to navigate the complexities of a man going through a crisis. The moment that reportedly ended their marriage was as devastating as it was accidental. According to sources close to the situation, Eamonn thought he was alone in their Weybridge home while having an intimate phone conversation with Katie. But Ruth could hear him from elsewhere in the house and was absolutely horrified by what she discovered. She confronted Eamonn immediately, and both of them were shocked by the situation that had unfolded. Can you imagine Ruth's devastation? Here she was, having devoted herself to caring for her husband through his most vulnerable period, only to discover he was sharing intimate conversations with another woman. As one source put it, it was a real kick in the teeth for Ruth. The woman who had sacrificed so much for their marriage suddenly realized it might already be over. In May 2024, the couple announced their intention to divorce, though they kept the details private. Eamonn's only public comment was brief and diplomatic. Before we move on, I would just like to thank people for their support for Ruth and I over the past few days. Your support from both of us is very much appreciated. But while Eamonn was keeping quiet publicly, he was moving on privately at a pace that must have been shocking to Ruth. By late 2024, he had gone public with Katie Alexander, posting photos together on social media and making their relationship Instagram official. Meanwhile, Ruth was still wearing her wedding ring and struggling to come to terms with the end of their 27-year relationship and 14-year marriage. Ruth has been remarkably open about her emotional journey through this devastating period. She admitted, "Of course you question yourself. Did I miss something? Was I not aware? Was I too busy? But there's no point playing the blame game. I just didn't think I'd find myself here, and I wasn't strong at the start. I was broken heart, broken dreams." She started counseling and has been brutally honest about needing professional help to navigate the trauma. Ruth explained, "Girlfriends are there for you come what may, but I needed a trained counselor, someone who didn't know me, to help me see the way through all the darkness. She said to me, 'Ruth, this is grief. This is trauma and you are in shock. Let it all out.'" While Ruth was processing her grief with therapists, Eamonn was apparently building a new life with Katie. They've been spotted on holidays together and enjoying date nights, though interestingly, they're not living together. Katie lives in West Yorkshire while Eamonn remains in southwest London, and they see each other every few weeks. The distance helps them avoid the intense scrutiny their relationship faces. The age gap between Eamonn and Katie has been a constant source of comment. At 66 and 42 respectively, there's a 24-year difference between them. Critics have pointed out that Katie is closer in age to Eamonn's son Jack, who was born in 2002, than she is to Eamonn himself. The relationship has also brought Katie unwanted attention and online abuse, which she's described as a year of hell while seeing Eamonn. Things took an even more bitter turn when Ruth decided to write her memoir, Feeling Fabulous, Be Your Best Self, No Matter What Life Throws at You. The book, published by Hodder and Stoughton for £22, became an instant bestseller, hitting number 2 on the Sunday Times list. In it, Ruth opened up about the breakdown of her marriage and her journey to rebuild her life. But here's where Eamonn's silence finally broke. According to sources close to the GB News presenter, he's absolutely furious about Ruth's memoir and feels she has painted him as the villain in their marriage breakdown. A confidant revealed, "There is a lot that has not been aired, shared, or said yet, though. He thinks Ruth does need to be mindful of this. Eamonn will have his say if Ruth doesn't stop." That's not just a casual comment from an ex-husband, that's a threat. Eamonn is essentially warning Ruth that if she continues to tell her side of the story, he'll reveal things that could be even more damaging. What could be so explosive that he's keeping it in reserve? What secrets is he holding back that could make Ruth's public revelations look tame by comparison? Ruth's response to Eamonn's anger has been characteristically blunt. When asked if Eamonn had read her new book, she simply replied, "Don't know." That two-word response speaks volumes about how completely disconnected they've become. The woman who once knew everything about her husband's thoughts and feelings now has no idea if he's even bothered to read her account of their relationship. The situation has become even more complicated with their son Jack caught in the middle. Sources suggest that Jack has aligned himself closely with his mother following the separation, and Ruth is reportedly furious that Eamonn made no attempt to reach out to Jack during Christmas and New Year to build bridges. Here's a father who once seemed so committed to family integrity that he kept his relationship with Ruth secret for years to protect his first family, now apparently unable to maintain a relationship with his youngest son. There's also the bizarre custody battle over their 14-year-old dog, Maggie. Yes, you heard that right. The couple who once shared a multi-million-pound home and a television empire are now fighting over a pet that they adopted back in 2011. The dog is described as being like a second child to both of them, which makes this dispute even more heartbreaking. Meanwhile, Eamonn's health continues to be a major concern. He's been noticeably absent from his GB News breakfast program recently, sparking widespread concern among viewers and colleagues. This follows an incident where he was accused of falling asleep and slurring his words during a live broadcast. The man who once commanded British breakfast television with confidence and wit is now struggling to maintain his professional commitments. Eamonn has been painfully honest about his current reality, saying, "I don't know, society's ageist, I'm sick, I'm in a wheelchair, that's been horrendous to deal with for 2 years." He's described living with constant pain while trying to maintain his career and his new relationship. The contrast between his current struggle and his former life with Ruth couldn't be starker. Ruth, on the other hand, seems to be finding her strength. She's returned to the This Morning studio where she and Eamonn once worked together so happily, promoting her book and talking about moving forward. She told the hosts, "Here I am, in the studio where Eamonn and I worked together for many, many years and we're very happy. Not everything lasts forever. The hardest part was having it played out in the public domain. But that just goes with the territory, that goes with the job." But the most telling moment was when Ruth finally removed her wedding ring. For a year after their split, she continued wearing it, telling friends she was still married when they questioned her about it. But one evening in May 2024, when the subject came up again, she realized, "Well, I'm not still married. I mean, I am, but only on paper." Her friends urged her to take the ring off, and she finally did. That moment represents more than just removing a piece of jewelry. It's Ruth finally accepting that the life she built with Eamonn is truly over. The woman who was blindsided by their split has found her way through the darkness and is building something new. But Eamonn's recent threats suggest this story is far from over. His warning that there is a lot that has not been aired, shared, or said yet hangs over both of them like a dark cloud. What could be so damaging that he's holding it in reserve? Is he planning his own tell-all revelation? Does he have information about Ruth that could change public perception of their marriage breakdown? The financial implications of their divorce are still being worked out. Ruth is reportedly fighting to keep their $3.6 million six-bedroom home in Surrey, while Eamonn has already moved out of their £2.5 million Weybridge property. These aren't just numbers on a balance sheet. They represent the dismantling of a life they built together over nearly 3 decades. What makes this situation so tragic is how it mirrors the breakdown of trust that destroyed their marriage. Ruth thought she was caring for a husband who was grateful for her devotion. Instead, she discovered he was emotionally investing in someone else. Now, as she tries to rebuild and tell her story, she's facing the threat that Eamonn might reveal secrets that could devastate her even more. As this story continues to unfold, several things are clear. Ruth Langsford has found her voice and isn't backing down from telling her truth, regardless of Eamonn's threats. She's even admitted she's open to love again, saying, "Never say never to starting a new relationship. I haven't been put off having a relationship. I haven't even been put off marriage." Eamonn Holmes, meanwhile, is juggling his declining health, his demanding job at GB News, his relationship with a woman 24 years his junior, and his anger over how Ruth is portraying their marriage breakdown. His threat to reveal more suggests he feels cornered and desperate to control the narrative. The real tragedy in all of this is how a couple who once seemed so solid, so dependable, so genuinely connected, has descended into this level of bitterness and public warfare. They went from being the stable, reliable faces of British morning television to becoming a cautionary tale about how even the strongest relationships can implode under pressure. At 66, Eamonn Holmes has indeed broken his silence about Ruth Langsford, but not in the way their fans might have hoped. Instead of reconciliation or mutual respect, we're seeing the ugly reality of a marriage that ended not with understanding, but with threats, secrets, and the promise of more revelations to come. Whatever Eamonn is holding back, whatever secrets he's threatening to reveal, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. And unfortunately for everyone involved, including their son Jack and the millions of viewers who once loved watching them together, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. The golden couple of British television has become a cautionary tale about how quickly love can turn to bitterness and how the most public relationships often hide the most private pain. At 66, Eamonn Holmes may have finally broken his silence, but the real question remains: what devastating truths is he still keeping to himself?